In 2006, a law was passed called the Combat Methamphetamine Act of 2005. Now, this act was there to enforce the use of ingredients that was put for meth users. They have to give their ID. People can only regulate and get so much. So, although this law is helping cut back the meth labs that are going up all over the world, and the accidents from cops and the children that are getting in the meth lab, it's not addressing the fact on the streets. The Mexican cartel has now swiped in and taken even more, making their job where they're taking over meth and heroin, and they're finding new ingredients to lace into these drugs to sell to people even cheaper and more affordable, and it's making a serious crisis in the world. The Rolling Stones said that they came in with much cheaper meth and have just flooded the region of the country. The DEA agent Richard Salter is a drug enforcement administrator here in Oklahoma for the last 27 years, and he tells about the impact being felt here in Oklahoma, where fatal overdoses and drugs have doubled over the last 5 years. In Oklahoma, it's getting much worse, and he blames it all on the Mexican cartel. In 2012, an ounce of meth and crystal ice was $1,100, and by 2019, an ounce cost you only about $250. From 2005 to 2015, there were at least 6,000 deaths reported. That doesn't mean that's how many died. That just means that's how many are showing up on autopsy. That is a 255% increase in deaths. Methamphetamine experts say it's not just cheaper, it's more lethal and deadlier than ever. Annie Makaya, deputy director, says her field office has seen a 50% increase in the amount of meth seized compared to this time last year. Alone in Oklahoma, Mark Woodward said that the death tolls have doubled. In 2012, only 140 deaths were reported, and by 2017, there were over 300. CNN reported no city has been hit as hard as Tulsa. Methamphetamine epidemic than Tulsa. There is so much attention just in Oklahoma, but nationwide on the opioid crisis. But the most deadly individual drug is meth. The Rolling Stones said that the amount of meth-related deaths vastly outnumbered those from heroin. And the chances are anyone on heroin has already been on meth, or they're doing both together. At the United States border, agents seize at least 10 to 20 times the normal amount that they did a decade ago. The Border Patrol in 2018 alone seized over 82,000 pounds of methamphetamine and ice. Oklahoma has also had a huge increase in women incarceration. It is actually known for one of the world's and nation's top incarceration rates for people on drugs. These people tend to, because they can't afford it, they do a lot of illegal things and get put away in prison for it. Statistics are showing that 14,000 cocaine users and 10,000 meth users and 15,000 opiate users die every year of an overdose. The Pew Charitable Trust said that the opiate crisis peaked, but meth and cocaine is exploding. The New Yorker Times said that little is being done to combat the problem with meth today because of the opioid crisis, and it's being overshadowed. The epidemic could really benefit from better resources for treating addicts. This is the video I'm going to show.
Like heroin, this drug is highly addictive and can be smoked, snorted, or injected. But meth is a stimulant. It can keep you wired and awake for days. Years of use can lead to organ damage, psychosis, and death. In recent years, meth has killed on average almost one Oklahoman every day. You found syringes?
They've been used already.
Okay. Is this pretty
Now, why this epidemic is important to me is because I didn't really know anyone that was on meth or any drugs. It just wasn't part of my family. But my sister married a man who was born on heroin. His mother died about 5 years ago as an overdose. And on March 9th of this year, I seen a news report that said that a man's body was found in Eufaula, Oklahoma. And he was almost unrecognizable, and that no family had reported anyone missing. So I called my father and asked where my brother-in-law was, when the last time they seen him was, and he reported December. I already had a bad feeling. I had already thought to myself that he would be someone that could disappear, no one would know. I automatically called the police department, and they later called us back, and we had to identify my brother by a tattoo on his leg of my sister. That was the only identification that we could use on him because his body was too decomposed. Now, my family helped him. After my sister died 6 years ago, he lost it. He kind of went back to his roots and how he was raised. And unfortunately, his normal was smoking meth with his parents. We helped him. My parents took him in for years. And he did really good for a little while, and then he would disappear for days at a time and then come home and sleep for days at a time. And finally my father, after about 1.5 years, had to kick him out. He bounced house to house and later became homeless. And because of this homelessness, it's because of his drug addiction, and there was nothing we could do. He wasn't ready for help, and it led to his death. I will probably live the rest of my life wondering what more we could have done for him. But it hurts to know that, he did die. He died of an overdose, and his body laid somewhere for months and no one knowing he was gone, because it was just a normal thing for an addict to be homeless and not hear from their family.